Welcome to the All Need Music Podcast. I'm Matt,
And I'm Jesse.
and we're back again.
Back again.
And
One of these
today,
days, we're going to be back in real life.
are we?
I'd hope so.
What's real life?
Together.
Oh, in person.
As one.
Yeah.
Instead of this virtual crap. Studio North and Studio South, we need a combo.
I know.
Matt's too
Yeah.
busy for me these days.
Well, we're going to be able to do some live shit in Nashville in less than a month.
Nope, 30 days.
It's
I guess it would be
less than a month. And it's not 30 days because it's the first.
Right. 30 days from when the actual CMA Fest starts on Thursday.
Right. But, I mean, let's be honest. People that wait to go until Thursday, are they even really there to have fun?
They're like people that are already like living in Nashville.
Yeah.
Or real close.
Yeah. I feel like if you're traveling, you're making a trip out of it.
Especially some of those people, they come from like Australia and Germany. Right. And it's like, man, why would you only come for 4 days and then fly out? That would be horrible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Spend almost as much time in the air as you do on the ground.
Right. Or in the airport security.
Right. So, this week's episode, we are going to test our music predictability with the 2025 ACM Awards that will be airing this Thursday
night. So 2 days after this podcast airs.
Yep.
Hopefully. Could be one day.
No, it'll be Tuesday. I'll make it happen. Might not be at 8 o'clock, but it'll happen.
Might be 8 o'clock at night.
No, it'll be before lunchtime. And then that's going to be streaming on Amazon Prime.
Uh-oh.
And it's going to be hosted by Reba. Oh, Jesse decided to leave me, I guess. There he is.
I'm still here.
You
just froze. For a second. You froze on my screen.
Oh, no, yours went away completely, and it was just me.
It was great. My visual of you, which it probably won't show on their end. No, you were like, you were doing your thinking face like,
Perfect.
I should have shared it with everybody else or something. snap screened it.
Right. So,
hosted by Reba.
Yep.
That's where I came back in at. So Thursday night, was it 8 o'clock?
Amazon Prime's. It is.
Hopefully it's at least 8 o'clock. I got work until probably about then that day, and so. But I'll be able to record it. Actually, on Amazon Prime, I don't think they let you rewind it.
8 p.m. Eastern. Yep.
Okay.
So, cha-ching. And so we're gonna make our early predictions where I'm 100% certain we're gonna get these ones right. So, visual media of the year. The nominees: Lainey Wilson with 4x4 by You, Cody Johnson, Dirt Cheap.
Cody Johnson, Gary Underwood, I'm Gonna Love You.
Yep.
I'll let you do the next one.
All right, Chris Stapleton, Think I'm in Love with You.
And now I'll do this one.
Okay.
Because I predicted this. I predicted this many years ago.
Yeah.
Ella Langley, Riley Green, You Look Like You Love Me.
And I'm going to say they're going to win.
Do you know why they're going to win?
Because that award has already been handed out.
Okay, so do you know why they won?
Why they were selected out of that category?
And why they won? Because it's visual media of the year, so it was for the video of
right.
You Look Like You Love Me. It's because the great Jamie Johnson made a cameo appearance in it.
Absolutely.
Right.
That was the highlight of that video.
Besides Ella, them two dancing together was the good part.
Yeah.
Not Riley Green looking like Spencer Dutton. But that was a pretty close representation. I was like, I'm pretty sure they just watched 1923 and saw Spencer Dutton, and Riley Green's like, yep, that's how I want to look.
Yeah, could be.
So,
all right. Well,
quick question.
Yeah.
I was wondering this. Why do they announce the winners early? Like, what's going to happen at the awards show? Like, they don't get to come up and give a speech or anything like that? Like,
no.
It's kind of weird that they announce them early.
Well, they're only allowed a certain amount of time for the show. And with all the, like, they've added so many over the years, they've added way more performances.
Gotcha.
You know, it didn't used to be so many performances. And that's when I noticed that they started like giving out early awards and then like not doing them at the show.
Gotcha.
Because it used to be that the only ones that they would do like beforehand would be like radio personality of the year or, you know, something like that.
Stuff that didn't really need somebody to come up on stage and give a big old speech about.
Right. And then they gradually started bumping some of the other stuff, I feel like, in favor of, you know, having another artist perform.
Right. Yeah, because that's what I was like. Do they do it because maybe some of those people can't make it because they already got like tour dates or something like that? And I was like, there ain't no way. I was like, Ella Langley, she's nominated. She has the most nominations out of anybody in country music for this. And I was like, even if she had a tour date scheduled for this with her,
she's canceling.
Right. It's her breakout. It's her breakout year. And she's got the most nominations. Like, yeah, sorry, people. I'll reschedule your concert, you know?
Yeah, I feel like most people, their labels have to know that they've like turned a corner and they're like potentially going to be getting some nominations. And when they're looking at like tour schedules, they're probably saying, nope, you're keeping this date open, you know, or we'll fly you there and then you can meet back up with your bus and your crew or whatever.
Right.
But
like Cody Johnson did a few years ago when
took off.
They were all going out partying afterwards, and he couldn't. He was jumping in a truck and heading cross country to go roping.
Right.
So,
yeah. So for the next category, how about we'll each do a category? Because I kind of started going and kind of cut you off, and then it was a little awkward. Yeah. It was like, you go, you go. Yeah.
No,
so
it's your turn.
I'll do new duo group of the year. And the nominees for that are Restless Road, the Red Clay Strays, and Treaty Oak Revival. And my money's on the Red Clay Strays.
As it should be.
Yeah.
I would have predicted them even if they hadn't already handed that one out.
Yeah. Well, I predicted them for the awards last fall, and they didn't get it, and I was surprised they didn't, but I was happy to hear that they did win.
Yeah,
new duo or group of the year.
Yeah, pretty cool.
For the ACMs.
And then I kind of like that Restless Roads got nominated too. They're playing at that the new Faster Horses this year.
Yeah, at Country Roads.
Yep, Country Roads with Restless Roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. All right, so next category, we will go New Female Artist of the Year. One of my personal favorites. Yeah, you like how I did that? I jumped that.
You sneaky bastard.
When you predict something after 30 seconds, you just have to, you know, get the honors of this one. So, which the other category that I skipped over of male artists, that's also a great one too. But New Females Artist of the Year, we have Cassie Ashton, Ashley Cook, Dasha, Jessie Murph, and drumroll, Miss Ella Langley. Winner, chicken dinner. That was obviously I absolutely love that she won it. I was also super stoked that Jessie Murph got nominated as well.
Yeah.
That, she's kind of she's done a few duets with people in country music, but she's still that's kind of all she's known for right there, is just those couple duets that she's done. But we got a chance to see her last year at Tailgate and Tall Boys, and she put on one hell of a show. So that was definitely cool to see her nominated. But when I saw her that she was up against Ella, I knew who the clear winner was. So I predicted that one too.
Yeah, sometimes they're easier like that. For the new male artist of the year category, which we'll get to in just a second, it's going to be one of those categories where it's like, oh, I mean, obviously it's already won, but
Right.
there's a couple people in there where you're like, ooh, I really like him. Oh, damn it, I really like him too.
Right.
Oh,
Right.
damn it, I like him. Can we find somebody that I don't like, maybe?
Right. Right. Well, there's one in there that I could have done without. And there's one in there that I don't think should have been in there.
I would agree with, and I think I will probably both agree on that one. So let's jump into that.
New male
New male
artist of the
artist of the
year.
year, and your nominees for that category were Gavin Adcock,
Yeah. Yeah.
Shabuzi, Zach Top, Tucker Wetmore, and Bailey Zimmerman. And it's a great talent pool, like no
Oh yeah.
doubt at all. I do.
I,
I
it,
agree wholeheartedly with who won. Zach Top is absolutely
yeah.
incredible. Uh,
Absolutely.
I hate that they put him in a category with Gavin Adcock, who I think is also very deserving of New Male Artist of the Year.
Sure.
The way
Yeah.
these award shows go, they usually lag a little behind, is what I've found. And so I
Yeah.
wouldn't at all be surprised to see Gavin Adcock nominated again next year for Best New Artist,
Right.
and my money's on he would get it then.
Right. Well, and that's the one that I thought that shouldn't have been there, not because he's not deserving of it, but Bailey Zimmerman, he's not really a new artist.
Right.
I mean, he's been out, we've seen him. His breakthrough year was 2 years ago down in Nashville when he played at, we seen him at CMA Fest, and then we see him at Tailgate and Tall Boys. And I mean, that was his first CD that he dropped, was just one of the greatest CD, like cover to cover albums that have been put out in quite some time. Like that was just banger every single one.
Yep.
So like that, he should have won. He should have been New Male Artist of the Year last year. He should have been nominated the year before for that. Kind of like you were talking about how Gavin Adcock might be nominated
But
next year for it.
I mean, that just goes back to that delay that I was talking about. Because even like Mitchell Tenpenny was just nominated last year for New Male Artist of the Year, I want to say,
Right.
for the CMA Awards. And Mitchell Tenpenny's been around for several. I mean, I've been a Mitchell Tenpenny fan going back, God, at least 5, maybe 6 years.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. Maybe even 8 years. I'd have to look at my little ticket board over there to see when it was that I saw him at Taste of Colorado in Denver. It's been at least 6 years,
Yeah.
probably 7. So, I think, I don't know the ins and outs of how they determine if it's like total streams or total record sales that puts you into a level where you can be considered best new artist. I'm sure there's some kind of metric that they
Right.
use, and different people hit it at different times, I guess.
Right.
Or you hit it a little too late to be nominated, maybe, and it just seems like somebody's blown up quicker.
Right.
But yeah, it's weird how some of those categories go like that,
Right.
and when especially with new artist stuff.
Right.
All the other stuff's pretty straightforward, but any of the new stuff to me is always weird on how they determine what's new or not.
Right. Now, we talked about this before when we've done coverage of like the CMA Awards and the Grammys and all that stuff. How is the ACM Awards, like who does the voting for to determine who wins?
So it's the Academy of Country Music is what the ACM is, and so I believe, if I remember correctly, anybody, and I can look it up real quick, anybody that's a member,
okay,
is how they vote.
That's what I thought it was too. So it's not the fans that aren't voting for this. It's not.
Let me see here.
Because what are like the Grammys and the Billboards and stuff like that? Those are more like fan base, and
so they have a voting a ballot periods, and it's for Academy members. And so the first round of voting goes February 10 to February 18, second round March 10 to March 17, and then the final round of voting is March 31st to April 7th, which is weird. So they must cut off. I don't see why they give them 10 to 18. You get more days in the first round than you do in the second round, and
more people then, and so they want to
maybe
narrow it down. So
they got three different weeks where people that are members of the Academy of Country Music can vote in those categories.
How does one become a member of the Academy?
I've never looked into that. I know for CMA, we could join.
Right. If you have a country music podcast.
Yep. So, criteria: member eligibility is limited to individuals and industry business organizations whose primary professional engagement is in the creation, production, promotion, and distribution of country music. Membership approval is subject to the complete discretion of the board. And so you have to apply, and then a board determines whether or not you can become a member.
So all our fans and subscribers out there that are listening, make sure you guys are sharing this podcast with your friends, engaging, liking, interacting. Get us up there and our followers and the subscribers. So when we go to apply next year, they look at it and be like, hey, these guys know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, technically, we would fall into the category of promotion. So if you're involved in the creation, production, promotion, or distribution, and we're certainly in the promotion side of things, without a doubt.
Promotion and knowledge.
Yeah. Who knows?
Like we're gonna predict everything right. So maybe far we have.
Yeah, maybe we can get. Yeah, we're 4 for 4. Maybe we can get ACM Podcast of the Year. Like,
oh, yeah.
Tell them, hey, you guys should do this.
Yeah. Why don't you guys nominate?
Right. So, any rate, back to the categories. And
so that's all the winners so far.
Yep.
Or do we have another?
Those were all 4 of the categories that the winners have been determined.
Okay.
And so we're going to go to a category, and honestly, it's probably one of my favorite, and it's one of the lesser known categories. Does not get the attention that a lot of female artists of the year, male artists of the year, duo or group, like any of that kind of stuff. And that's songwriter of the year. And I'm a songwriter junkie. So in that category, you've got Jesse Alexander, Jesse Joe Dillon, Ashley Gorley, Chase McGill, and Josh Osborne. And
I'm Jessies know what they're doing.
Yeah, probably more so than you.
Hey.
So I'm gonna put
I'm gonna go and see
on
the winner
Ashley
of this.
Gorley. To me, like, and we've talked about this before, that Ashley Gorley is
like 70 number ones,
81.
81 number ones,
81 number one songs, and has had over 400 songs recorded. You just can't.
No, you can't deny that.
Right.
Do you know, off the top of your hand, do they tell you what songs are up for this nomination, or how many songs they've wrote this year that have been recorded by people?
Nope. So that's different. Like song of the year,
right,
would be like specifically to one written. This is kind of like, you know, male artist of the year,
mm-hmm.
in that it's not tied to a singular song. It's tied to the totality of the year.
Right.
And so it's not a specific song or two songs. It's what they've done for the year, as a writer.
Hopefully when the show airs, they'll kind of go over that and be like, they've had this song, and this song that are all chart topping, or they've wrote 10 number ones this year or something like that. So we can kind of.
Right. Well, if you don't know who Ashley Gorley is, and I get it, not everyone does. We've got friends that I've pointed it out to, and they're like, yeah, I literally, one of my friends was like, yeah, I've never heard of her. I'm like, it's a him. It's a guy. And you need to make sure that you've heard of him, because I guarantee you like a lot of songs he has written, period. Right. So go brush up on your knowledge. Just take a minute, Google Ashley Gorley, and just sit there in awe of the amount of music that this guy has written.
Right. It's kind of the same thing. Like you said, there's some people that, you have friends and everything. I remember, I've listened to Hardy for many, many years. And, before he came out with Mockingbird and Crow, that was like his first like full on album that he's done. And so many people, like, we were huge Hardy fans back then, and long before. And there was so many people that I was like, oh yeah, you heard Hardy's new one? And they're like, who's Hardy?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I would tell them, and they're like, oh, never heard of him. I'm like, well, turn country music on right now, and I guarantee that he's wrote half of these songs that are being played on the radio right now, or been involved with them. So because he wrote for many, many years. I mean, shoot, probably 80% of Morgan Wallen's hits were wrote by Hardy and Ernest.
Yeah, well, I mean, I remember when Rednecker came out, and I sent it to Dan, and Dan's like, who the hell is this? I'm like, it's Hardy. And he's like, Hardy what? I'm like,
Hardy Boys.
It's just Hardy. And he's like, the wrestler guy? And I'm like, no.
No, Dan, no.
Which is ironic, because who's your prediction in that category? Hopefully you're smart enough to stay with me on that one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Ashley's definitely the way to go. I'm super excited to, down in Nashville on one of the days, we're going to go see, Ernest is doing a fundraiser that we're going to see, and it's a songwriters round, and Ashley's going to be there, and Zach Top as well. So,
yeah,
you got three amazing writers and talented people right there, amongst others that will be there as well. So,
yeah.
That'll definitely be cool. But yeah, I mean, definitely songwriters, like, if they're not performers, people don't know about them, just like that. Hardy, same thing. Ernest, like, they didn't perform a lot back then. They wrote, and they might like I remember Up Down, when Morgan Wallen and Hardy were both in the video of Up Down.
Right.
And, young as shit. And it's like, yeah, he kind of sang in there, but he didn't have his own solo career, so people didn't really know, of it. So
yeah,
same thing.
And
if
I
you're
think that's
just
the
a
problem with
songwriter,
Ashley Gorley. Yeah, he doesn't have like an album that you can go listen to.
Right.
Otherwise, he'd probably be entertainer of the year, if he could sing and play an instrument too. I mean, if you can
Right.
write like that, I mean, let's be honest though, like no single individual should have that much talent to be able to write like that and
then
sing and play
right.
an instrument too. Like you gotta like tone it
Divvy it
back.
up.
You can,
Right. You
yeah,
got
pick,
divvy
pick,
it up. You can only be
but
good at one thing.
right. Or great rather at one thing. You can be good at others, but you're
Right.
only allowed to be great at one.
Right. Right. So
So you're up with the next category,
all
which
right, so
kind
we're
of
moving
ties into it.
into kind of ties into it. So it's artist songwriter of the year. So that's kind of one that's more involved with the artist that's actual wrote. Now on this one, do you know it's not strictly just the artist writing that song? A lot of times it's the artist and he has a couple other people writing with them, or is it strictly they
Yeah,
wrote
so
it by themselves?
nope, it can be a co-writer status,
Okay.
but it's somebody who writes and performs,
And performs
which
that
is
song.
which
Right.
is the difference between this and the songwriter of the year
Right.
category.
Right, because so I'm going to get to it. So we got Mr. Lucas Combs, Ernest,
Yep.
Hardy,
Yep.
Morgan Wallen,
Yep.
and Lainey Wilson for this. So that's kind of
Yeah.
funny that we were just talking about it, that, Morgan, Ernest, and Hardy are all best friends. Morgan was the one that kind of popped off beforehand,
Mhm.
but Ernest and Hardy were probably the ones that were writing the songs for him. Morgan probably had his hand in it, but the majority of the songwriting was probably coming from, those other two. So you pretty much got three guys that are in the mix right there that probably all co-wrote all these songs together. So,
Yeah.
so it's definitely a hard category. This is one that I would like to know what song it is that they're up for to make
And
a
again,
full prediction.
it's not a song.
Yeah,
It's basically what
they're
you've done for the year
right,
as a songwriter and performer.
right. So, but yeah, this is a tough category because every single person on here is super talented in songwriting
Yeah.
and super talented in performing. Obviously, Luke Holmes, Lainey Wilson, and Morgan Wallen are probably your three top performers, but Hardy's right there second, and Ernest is definitely getting more of that being known as a performer.
Yeah.
He was kind of the slow end of things, but he's definitely getting more recognition now, and people, he's getting out there. He did the song with Lainey Wilson, did the song with Snoop
Snoop.
Dogg there. So yeah, so that's a pretty wide range of songwriting capabilities right there. So, but I don't know. I don't know if I need to hear your prediction first.
No, you got to put your money down. Whoever reads the category has to make their prediction first.
So,
Dun, dun, dun.
my favorite performer songwriter out of this group is probably Hardy. I'm going to say,
Okay.
but there's two that stand out that I'm fighting back and forth with, and it's between Luke Holmes and Lainey Wilson. Luke Holmes, I'm sure one of his repertoire songs that is tied into this category was Ain't No Love in Oklahoma that he did this past year, which was it's probably one of my favorite songs of this past year.
Incredible song.
Yeah, and it's just one of those that it's just every time, and he's wrote a couple other songs that are really great too. Lainey Wilson, I mean, she wrote 4x4 by You. She was, she, did songs with Ernest. She did songs with Miranda Lambert this year. There's probably other ones as well. So I think I'm going to go with Mr. Lucas Combs.
All right.
Is my prediction for this one, just because I think that not only is that just an amazing song, but that whole soundtrack was amazing, which I know Lainey Wilson was on that soundtrack too. So, but
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
I mean,
I'm going to go with Luke Combs.
yeah. Well, and I don't know if you know this, but that Ain't No Love in Oklahoma ties into the Songwriter of the Year category because Jesse Alexander is the co-writer on Ain't No Love in Oklahoma with Luke Combs.
Okay.
So
yeah.
A lot of that, stuff ties in back and forth.
Right.
That is an incredible song, and I'm going to play this game a little differently in that I'm going to go with not necessarily who I think should win, because I do believe
You're
that
going with the underdog.
I don't think it's an underdog, to be honest with you. I think it's actually the smart choice, and I think it's going to be Morgan Wallen.
Oh, Morgan. I thought you were going to go
And
with Ernest. Why?
nope,
Because he's putting out a 37 track disc here.
no. And here's my basis for it. These award shows are a little bit ridiculous, I guess, at times. So if you go back and look over the years, and it's happened to far more than just Morgan Wallen, but it definitely happened to
Show him
Morgan
some
Wallen.
love. Show him some
Is
love.
there's been plenty of artists that have been snubbed over the years for some of the dumbest crap imaginable. And, to me, an award show should be based on what the category is, not what you've done in your personal life, or what you called your friend when you were drunk at 2 a.m. and the neighbor recorded it, or not what you tossed off of a rooftop, or any number of things. But Morgan's starting to get some of that recognition that he was due a number of years ago.
Right.
And in that era where he was being snubbed. And so I feel like they're starting to kind of like, all right, we're going to give him his flowers now. He's being better, and and so I'm going to go with Morgan only for
he's
that
being better this year so far.
So I think that there's a good chance that Morgan Wallen's gonna take home a couple awards over the next couple of years. As long as he continues to keep his nose clean, they're going to continue to give him the awards that he should have been due before. And the problem with that is you gave awards to people a few years ago that were really due to him, and now you're going to go and give him those awards when they really potentially could be due to somebody else. Not that he's not a great artist and songwriter, because he definitely is, but I feel like the argument could be made for Laney in that category. I feel like the argument can be made for Luke Combs in that category. It's loaded with talent that's, really great performers and songwriters. And so I feel like when it's a toss up like that they're going to go down the road of paying back something that they know was owed previously.
A makeup call.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where I'm going with Morgan on that one.
All right.
So I think the next category is me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Music event of the year. Music event of the year. Yeah, we got Kelsey Ballerini and Noah Khan, Cowboys Cry 2.
Good song.
Post Malone, Morgan Wallen, I Had Some Help. Cody Johnson and Carrie Underwood, I'm Gonna Love You. Carly Pierce and Chris Stapleton, We Don't Fight Anymore. Ella Langley with Riley Green, You Look Like You Love Me. And this one is another one of those like, damn it, why is there so much good stuff here?
Right. Now, is this music event of the year? Is this like a specific performance that they did of these songs somewhere?
Not a specific, just the performance itself.
Okay.
All right. And this is another one where I feel like the argument can be made for a lot of songs. And I'm going to go on this one. I'm going to go alone on it. I'm not going to go with what I think that they're going to do or they might do, because there's so much crazy shit that could happen in this category. But I'm going to go with Cody Johnson and Carrie Underwood. And I'm going to tell you why. I don't know that everybody knows this story. And if you don't, you're going to hear it now because you should know this story. When they decided that they were going to duet this song, they each went in and recorded it.
Yeah.
Did their parts. And
right, they were like two different places. Like,
right.
I think he was out in Texas and she was in Nashville or something.
And they didn't like it.
Right.
And so they came together at the studio, you know, and they're like trying to figure it out, like, I don't really like this, I don't really like that. And they're like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's jump in the booth real quick and we'll run it through a couple of times and see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They go in the booth, staring at each other face to face. They sing this song. One take.
Right, one take.
And that's what was freaking dropped.
Yep.
And that is absolutely incredible talent. I don't care who you are. Any two artists that can go in, look each other in the eye, and hit an absolute grand slam deserve an award.
Right, right.
And
absolutely.
So that's where I'm at with it. Do I think someone else could still potentially win that one? Absolutely. Because there's just some great songs in this category.
Oh yeah. Out of the whole category, I mean, there's one that I was kind of like, yeah, that's a really good song. But compared to the other ones, I was like, it didn't stack up. That the other four are four that it's just like, you're going to remember them forever, you know, type of songs and type of duo and mashup. One of them that I didn't like like Carly Pearce and Chris Stapleton. This is another one that I swear it was out. Wasn't it out? Like, it wasn't last year. It was the year before, I think, that it came out. But maybe they didn't really perform it together until last year. But I feel like it's an older song, compared to the other ones. But that right there, those two together, that was just classic. So like that was one of them where I was like, that's gonna have to be it. But I kind of put it on further back because I was like, you know what, I don't necessarily agree that it should have been for this category because all the other songs seem like they're much newer.
Yeah, so that was June of 2023.
Okay,
so maybe it's like something. Maybe it's where it's past the halfway point,
right? So it gets thrown into 2024.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I was gonna say, I'm like, you know what? I was like, I remember watching that video on CMT like back in 23, like towards the end of it, and so, but you know, on this one, gotta go with my girl. You Look Like You Love Me.
And I'll tell you why I don't think that they'll get it there. Because they already got it for Visual Media of the Year.
Right.
And I think that when they do stuff, I think that because I think she's going to get other awards.
I think she's going to get them all.
For sure. And I don't think they want to give everything to somebody. So when people are voting, they're like, I'll vote for her for this, but I'm going to give this one to someone else kind of thing. Right. I actually feel pretty solid that Post Malone and Morgan Wallen might hit that one.
Yeah.
Because I think that country music has embraced Post Malone so much that he's due to kind of get his first kind of country music flowers given his way. Right. And I wouldn't at all be surprised if that's not who gets that one. I'm going to still stick with Kojo and Carrie Underwood on it, but
yeah, that's the one I was going to go with too, was that song, and those two together, just because of that, like you were saying. Yeah. I just think of when I think of music event of the year, and since it's not like a specific time that they did it together, I don't know how many times and how many different places venues, ice arenas, rodeos, this and that Ella and Riley have come together wherever they're at and they perform that song. And so it's like, not only was it like one of the most popular one on the radio, but they did it so many times together and so many different backdrops. Like one time I seen them just the other day, it was like in an ice arena. It was just the two of them doing, just the two of them singing, acoustic. And then I've seen it where they're doing it where they got the big bar up on stage, and I think that was at the CMT or CMA Awards. And so I just think that they've performed it so many times together. So when I think of music event of the year, if you're going totality, like the Cody Johnson and Carrie Underwood, obviously that has a great backstory of them coming into the booth and doing it together. But I've only seen them perform it like once or twice live together. So when I think of
that's all it takes to hit a grand slam.
I mean, it is. But when I think of music events of the year, like if you're doing it as like a totalitarian, I think that's why I'm going with Ella and Riley for that one.
All right.
So,
well, let's go on to the next category, and this one's going to be you.
All right. So now we're on to Song of the Year. So for Song of the Year, we got the lovely Lainey Wilson and 4x4 by You. Classic. Great song. Mm-hmm. Casey Musgraves came into it with The Architect. She's one of those that I like to see that she got into this category because she's one of those that you don't hear about her all the time. You don't see a lot of her with her things.
She's big, but it's right. She's like just not quite like gotten to like Lainey status,
right?
Just kind of hanging here, but she's just very kind talented,
right? Super talented, but she doesn't make the headlines all the time, and she's not doing stadium tours all the time, but she's definitely super talented. We got Cody Johnson with Dirt Cheap.
Yep.
Post Malone and Morgan Wallen. I had some help.
Yep.
Just talked about that. And then again, Ella Langley and Riley Green with You Look Like You Love Me. So this is Song of the Year. If I can recall, I believe that Ella and Riley probably spent the most time at number one on pretty much everything with that song. You guys know my feelings on that song. I'm glad that song came out. I by far think that it is Ella Langley's worst song. I got the peanut gallery over here. Shut your face. I'm not saying that it's a bad song. I'm just saying she even said that she wrote that as a joke. And it came out. I've never been a huge fan of, if you're that talented as a singer, you should be singing instead of just talking. Same thing with Riley Green. He's a great singer. So even like his verse in there, he was talking. Sam Hunt, he does it all the time, like has songs with him, talking. And then when he sings, I'm like, you should just be singing the whole time. You shouldn't be doing this talking thing.
Right.
So I do think that was probably Song of the Year. I did say that I was going to go with Ella on every single one here, but if I'm picking my personal favorite, I'm going with Cody Johnson and Dirt Cheap, because that song right there, like I could listen to that song over and over and over and over and over, and I will have the same emotions with that song every single time I hear it. You can just feel it, like he transports you to, where he is at that. And to be honest, the music video of that song, it's good, but I would much rather just listen to that song and like let my mind create that visual of what's going on with that. So but I think I'm going with that one because that is probably out of that category of my favorite songs. So from a personal, I'm not going like educated on this of like who I think's going to do it. So I'm going with Kojo on this one.
All right. Well, let me get you marked on Kojo.
Get me locked in.
Lock it in. Is that
Put
your
the money.
final answer?
Final answer.
And so the thing with this category is that Song of the Year is one that the award goes to the writer.
Oh, okay.
Even though it's Song of the Year and it's not a necessarily like a writer category like the ones we went over earlier. Whenever they do Song of the Year, the writer always comes up with the
artist.
If it's not the same. And so there's this little burst of categories here where I think a lot of stuff is interchangeable. You know what I mean? Where like if Riley and Ella get musical event of the year, I don't think they get song of the year.
Right.
And then there's also single of the year. And a lot of these I feel like are really interchangeable on where they could go if they win one that they wouldn't necessarily win another. I'm right there with you though on the song of the year is as far as I'm concerned absolutely has to be Dirt Cheap. Dirt Cheap is 100% quintessential country music at its core, with the roots of storytelling, because I don't care where you're at, what you're doing, you listen to that song and you can see that little girl right there, you know, the pink bows in her brown hair. Just
see what I see is the dog under the tree. My best friend's buried. That pulls on the heartstrings every single time, because I think of my dogs every time like that, and I'm like,
yeah,
hold it together.
Yeah, and the writer of that song, I actually seen a video of him performing it at a writers round in Nashville. His name's Josh Phillips, and he was talking about that he wrote it actually from a now perspective, looking forward, whereas the song comes across as looking backwards. And he actually wrote it looking forward, which is really weird. Like sometimes songwriters just do stuff where I'm like, wow, like how would you think to write predictability going forward, where something like that would just almost seem natural, that you have lived it and then you wrote it based on what you lived, not you're living it and writing the future portions of it, which is really incredible to me. But again, that's another category where you could see, in my opinion, you could see Song of the Year go to Post and Morgan. You know, you could see it equally go to Lainey Wilson with 4x4 for You. So it's going to be a tough one to see how it plays out. But yeah, I agree. It should be Dirt Cheap for sure. Then we're going to get into what's
it's kind of weird. It's like the same thing.
Similar. Yeah. So it's Single of the Year. And it's similar but different in that Song of the Year, like I said, you know, the artist gets recognition. Single of the Year, the writer does not get recognition. I mean, they'll say who wrote it, but it's not, you don't,
they don't go up on stage with them.
And so you got a lot of the same stuff here, and you've got a couple different. So you got Shabuzi with a bar song, Cody Johnson again with Dirt Cheap, Post and Morgan, I Had Some Help, Chris Stapleton with White Horse, and Ella Langley and Riley Green again with You Look Like You Love Me. This one, I'm going to go with what I think they're going to do, not necessarily with what I think should happen. And I know you're already shaking your head because you know how the industry is. Like, I'm not saying that I agree with it, but I'm telling you, my money is going on Shabuzi with a bar song. I think that this is going to
I can't look at you, and I can't listen to you right now.
I'm not saying that's my choice. I'm saying that I'm predicting what.
I can't hear you. Are you done talking?
Dick. I'm going with what I think the Academy of Country Music is going to do with this one. I don't personally think that I would give it to it. This is actually one where I would argue that Ella and Riley should have this, other than I believe Shabuzi did spend more time at number 1 than Ella and Riley did.
On the billboards, yes,
I'd have to look that up and see for sure. So I think that this is going to be where they give Shabuzi his flowers with that song.
And then they kick him out.
No.
They should.
No, they shouldn't. I'm not a huge fan of that song, even though it's catchy, but the dude has some really freaking good songs that should be being played 10 times more often than a bar song was.
Definitely should be played more, but I still don't think, like, even those songs, like, I just don't see country music in those songs. Like, it's just
have you listened to his other music though?
Oh yeah. I've listened to quite a few of his songs, and I just don't hear it. Like,
he's no Don Lewis. I'll give you that. Like, they're on the same label, and Don Lewis, I feel, is actually way more talented than Shabuzi is.
Right.
But the dude's got some good songs, and I'll give credit where credit is due. And really, a bar song is catchy as all hell. It's one of those songs that you don't like, but you still find yourself kind of singing along to it, even though you don't like it.
Yeah, I think my prediction is one hit wonder.
Could be.
Like, he might have other songs that are out, and he might have something for a few years here, but he will slowly fizzle. So, as far as my predictions for the single of the year, I am going to go, and this is something that another one that Chris Stapleton, White Horse, again, is that another one that is from 2023?
That sounds about right.
Because I'm pretty sure it is, and so it's like, how do you get single of the year with a song that came out, the year prior to that?
Yes, 2023, but it was released in July. So I'm seeing a trend here. So maybe if it's
halfway
second half of the year, and I'm going to do some digging. I'll do some digging before we do a follow-up show from the awards to have those answers. But I'm going to bet that it's something like that, where if it's after June 1 or something, that it goes into the next year's class of songs, if you will.
Well, do me a favor right now, though. If that is the stipulation of this, when did You Look Like You Love Me come out? Because that wasn't until probably the second half of this past year, wasn't it? Because it wasn't at the beginning of the
year. All right. Yeah. So that was August of 2024.
Right. So
maybe there's a window. Maybe it's like a 18-month window or something where you could get into both, and maybe that could still be Song of the Year next year. You know what I mean?
Or maybe it's just June through, I don't know. So, but I think for this one, I'm gonna go. I see you already put me down for that.
I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I am saying that I do believe that song is powerful and that it should be, and it might go. I think you throw Chris Stapleton in any category with anybody, and and it's like, it's almost a guarantee that he's going to get that. It's kind of like, all of last year and the year prior, every time Jelly Roll and Kojo were in a contest, up for award together, Jelly Roll got it every time over Kojo, even though that, he was probably, and they were great friends about it. Kojo was just as happy that Jelly Roll was getting it. But, anytime you throw Chris Stapleton into that, it's like, I mean, you have to give it up to him. But I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to give it up to Posty and Morgan for this one.
All right.
So this is where I'll give the credit due to those two, just because
I think that's entirely possible.
I can't get everything to Ella, so.
Yeah. All right, you're up with Album of the Year.
All right, so we got Album of the Year. So first off, we got the Maronis, Megan Maroney with Am I Okay? I'll Be Fine. We got Jelly Roll with Beautifully Broken. You got Zach Top, Cold Beer and Country Music. Post Malone with his F1 Trillion. And you have Lainey Wilson with Whirlwind. So this is Album of the Year. This is another tough one. As much as I like Jelly Roll and Beautifully Broken was a great album, I personally liked Jelly's music the year prior to the Beautifully Broken album. Not to say that it was a bad album, but you guys know my views on Jelly Roll as far as like I've been following him for many, many years. I loved him when he did the Willie and Waylon collaboration with Struggle Jennings. I do like Jelly Roll when he was, doing more rapping and singing together. I feel like he's going down the transition of doing more singing, which isn't bad. But I'm going to pass on that one. For this one, as much as I want Zach Top to win this one, I think that Lainey is going to edge him out with Whirlwind on this one. Zach Top, I mean, it's a great album, and he is super talented, and I think he is going to be the next Alan Jackson and beyond. Yeah, his son. and beyond even. He has a long career ahead of him of dominating these things. I just think that album is too new, that there's still so many people that are finding Zach Top right now that he hasn't like sprung to that stardom spot just yet. He's almost there, but there's still, I mean, I was just up with for Cinco de Mayo, which by the way, happy Cinco de Mayo. We celebrated it this past weekend, and I have a couple of my friends from Traverse City that are huge music junkies, that they love old country music. They love that old gritty, the Waylons, the Johnny Cashes, the Alan Jacksons, all those people.
Yeah.
And none of them had heard of Zach Top. I had to put on a show for them of letting them listen, and they were like, wait, who is this guy? This guy sounds like he's been around for forever, like doing this kind of music. And I was like, no, man, he's like just now hitting it. So
yeah,
I think that Lainey will edge him out in this this album of the year.
So and I think that's entirely possible that Lainey gets it. I tend to disagree slightly with you with Zach Top in the sense that I don't think you have to be the megastar name to get Album of the Year. Sometimes they go hand in hand, but I think that he has, in an era that country music has definitely evolved tremendously, right? In that it's not all that classical sound that he is. Right. It would be really easy to close the door in his face and be like, this is the direction we're going right now. And quite the opposite happened. When you listen to other people, other industry people, everybody loves Zach Top. And I think if this category was viewer based, I would say you're right. He probably wouldn't stand a chance in winning it because his name isn't that big. But because this is industry people voting on this,
right,
and industry people love him,
right.
And I'll tell you who else loves him. My dad does. And my dad says that they haven't made country music since the 90s. And I played Zach Top for him. And he's like, well, who's that? I like that guy. I'm like, that's new music, Dad. That's just out in the last year.
Right.
So you can't say that they haven't put out good country music since the 90s anymore,
Right.
because you just said you liked it. So I'm and maybe I might be a little blissfully hopeful, but I think that there's a damn good chance that Zach Top wins this one, even though he's not got the name recognition of Laney or even Megan Maroney or Jelly Roll for that
Right.
matter. But I think that there's enough industry people that know him and love him,
Right.
that when they're voting, I think Zach Top's gonna potentially take this one.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that you have to be the megastar or anything of that nature. I'm just saying the album's too new for it to take down album of the year as a newcomer like that, because to be honest, I haven't even listened to the whole album of it. Because every song on there is not one of those songs that is being played, even on like the highway, which is they highlight all new artists, new songs that are coming out.
Yeah.
It doesn't, the highway is a good one because it's not the full on straight country radio play of all the big names.
Right.
But so that's why I was saying that I think it's just too new. I think that album of he could be up for album of the year for next year,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, he's he's who I want to win that category because I want to see him, dominate. But I think when you throw him up against those other names like that, it's going to be a fight.
It is. It is.
So, all right, well, let's get this ball rolling a little bit here. We're starting to fall behind. So,
Yeah, we got
next up, we got Group of the Year.
Yep.
So we got Flatland Cavalry, Little Big Town, Old Dominion, Rascal Flats making an appearance again, and the Red Clay Straws. Strays. It's my dyslexia coming in here. So on this one, it's a tough one. I mean, Red Clay, obviously they already won one.
Yep.
They are a front runner in my mind. Rascal Flats, they haven't been up for an award in some years. They're kind of reemerging right now, doing some collaborations with other people. So I think they're definitely going to be a front runner. But I'm going to have to go personally. I think Old Dominion's going to walk away with this one. Just because I think that they've been kind of dominating. At least, I hear them on the radio quite often. They're hitting CMT, music videos quite often. They got, it seems like every song they put out, is turning into a banger. So I'm going to go with Old Dominion.
Yeah, and I'm right there with you as well. I mean, they've been pretty much owning this category for the last couple of years.
Right.
There's a chance, obviously. I don't think that they're going to give new group of the year and group of the year to the Red Clay Strays,
Right.
which is probably the only reason that I wouldn't say that they deserve to get this. Rascal Flats, is back on tour again and back together, and anything's possible with those guys. I feel like there is a chance that people could throw like a nod their way and be like, glad to have you back.
Right.
Here's an award we're going to throw your way. And really Little Big Town, the same thing. I mean, they've been around for years. and have always been kind of a namestay at the top of the list of groups of the year. I just feel like Old Dominion has just kind of been riding this wave for a couple of years, and I think that they're going to stay right there again this year.
Yeah.
So, moving on to duo of the year, you've got Brooks and Dunn, Brothers Osborne, Dan and Shay, Muscadine Bloodline, and the Warren Treaty. This category, man, I struggle with this one a lot. I absolutely love Muscadine Bloodline. You know that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And I think that they could be duo of the year. I feel like they maybe should have been in the new category. I just feel like anytime you put Brooks and Dunn in a duo category, like, how do you not give it to them?
Right.
You know, and that's not to take away anything from Brothers Osborne, Dan and Shay, the Warren Treaty, none of them. While my personal vote, if I had one in this, would have gone to Muscadine Bloodline. When you're talking, you know, who's going to win this, I'd put my money on Brooks and Dunn.
Yep. I'm right there with you. If I had a I want Muscadine Bloodline to win. Super, super talented. Like, so bummed that Post Malone picked him up on tour and we didn't get to see him down at the intersection after we had tickets for him. Definitely love them, but I'm the same way. You got Brooks and Dunn there. It's hard to stray away from them, and you know them collabing with Jelly Roll last year, and you know
they've stayed relevant for how many damn years?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
decades.
As much as I love Muscadine Bloodline, in 20, 30 years, are they going to still be doing it and still be on top? I don't know.
Right,
I'd love to see that.
Right.
I'd love to see that. And if they are, then they would be my surefire like prediction every time at that point, just like Brooks and Dunn is. But listen, I would love to be surprised in this category and see Muscadine win it. I would not be upset at that at all, but I just feel like industry wise, you know, Brooks and Dunn are going to always kind of come out on top.
Right. Oh, yeah. So, all right. Now we're up to Male Artist of the Year. We're getting close to the top right here. So, Male Artist of the Year, you're seeing a lot of the same here. Luke Combs, Cody Johnson, Jelly Roll, Stapleton, and Morgan Wallen rounding out the Male Artist of the Year. Another one, you know, close your eyes and throw a dart on the wall, and you know that's who's going to go with it. I think myself, I don't know if he's ever won it before, and definitely deserving of it, but I'm going Kojo on this one. You know, not only did he had the Dirt Cheap, you know, he's done the collaborations with everybody. He's well deserving of it. Not to say that the other guys aren't, but I'm pretty sure Luke Combs has definitely won it. Jelly Roll's won it. Stapleton's won it. That could be a toss up though. It was between him and Morgan Wallen for this one, of where you were talking about early, like throwing him the makeup calls and stuff like that. He won Male Artist of the Year. What was it for the was it the Grammys that he got it, or
CMAs,
yeah. So I think that I'm going to go with Kojo on this one.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Luke Combs, but with a stipulation that if it's always weird. So more often than not, I feel like Male Artist of the Year and Female Artist of the Year don't win Entertainer of the Year.
Right.
And I think, and that's kind of the biggest,
right,
which is why I think that they're going to throw a bone to Morgan Wallen on that one.
Gotcha.
A little too early on that prediction, I guess, which is why I don't think he'll get Male Artist of the Year.
Right.
If it goes to Chris Stapleton, which it very well could for for the entertainer of the year category. Morgan may take it. I don't know.
Right.
But Luke Combs, I think I'm gonna put my money on Luke Combs. For some reason, I got a feeling he's gonna get Male Artist of the Year this year.
Nice.
So, female artists of the year. You got Kelsey Ballerini. You got Ella Langley, Megan Maroney, Casey Musgraves, and Lainey Wilson. And this is a tough one. I think that, God dang it.
Just say it. You know you want to.
Well, I'm torn, and I think here's what I think. All right. I think that Lainey's going to get it. I think there's a chance Ella gets it. But I think that Ella's more likely to get Female Artist of the Year next year. I feel like these award shows lag behind a little bit and want to see a little bit more. And Lainey's done a little bit more than Ella has for a longer stretch. And so I think that Lainey's going to get this one.
All right, all right. You're contradicting yourself though when you're saying that it's the industry, and I think the industry likes the newcomer. They like the next Miranda Lambert.
They do, but I've heard
Copyright
stories.
Jesse Carlson, 2021,
2023,
21.
So here's the thing that I've heard over the years from industry people that there's a lot of horse trading involved, essentially. So I've got a record label, you've got a record label, all right? And let's say I've got Cody Johnson on my record label, and you don't have a guy on your record label that's up for Male Artist of the Year. I tell you, hey, get all your people, because all your people can vote that work for your label, right? They're all going to vote for my guy. And then you're like, okay, well, we've got Lainey and you don't have anyone in that category. So everyone at your label votes for our girl.
Right.
And so it's not necessarily people voting based on performance. It's like trading
politics
votes, essentially. Yeah. And so that's where I think that there's a damn good chance that Lainey gets it, even though the argument could easily be made that Ella Langley is the Female Artist of the Year. I mean, she has been anywhere and everywhere that's country music, without a doubt. And if you base it off of that and everyone voted that way, I think Ella gets it. I just think that there's going to be horse trading involved, and I think that it's going to go to Lainey. Not that she doesn't deserve it. Lainey's still a phenomenal female artist. Like, no, she's been the biggest name in country music, male or female, for the last several years.
Oh yeah.
So I'm not taking anything away from her at all. I don't really know. You hear rumors of how these deals, backroom deals, are made, for votes. And I feel like because of how long she's been around, if that kind of stuff does take place, like I've heard, then they're going to have a little more pull to get her the vote she needs to beat out Ella.
Right. Yeah, well, and you guys know I'm going with Ella on this one myself because I'm actually reserving Lainey for the top honors this year. I think that, like you said, she has dominated for the last multiple years running, and well-deserving. I mean, for the most part, she is the face of country music. I believe, like, as far as, not that everybody else isn't the face of country music, but she has made a whirlwind of country music, of her determination of, and the grit and the stamina and the longevity, and, just going out there and being an inspiration to young females and, males across the board. So, like you said,
she's been making country cool again.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going with Ella for the Female Artist of the Year because I don't think that, like you were saying.
No, hang on. You misspoke. You said Lainey for female artist of the year. Entertainer of the year is.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Female artist of the year. I'm going with Ella Langley just because
Entertainer of the year,
she wasn't nominated for Entertainer of the Year.
Yeah.
So
and I already kind of threw mine out there a little ahead of the game too. With I think that they're going to give Morgan Wallen his due with this one. So Entertainer of the Year, Kelsey Ballerini.
So we already had our predictions. Here's the actual nominees.
Yeah, Kelsey Ballerini, Luke Combs, Kojo, Jelly Roll, Chris Stapleton, who like you said earlier, anytime he's in a category, it very well could go his way. Right. And there's plenty of arguments to be made to support that. Then Morgan Wallen and Laney. So we hammered them all out. Went a little longer than we thought we would go on this one, but those are our predictions, and we'll recap after the awards and see who has the higher winning percentage.
I think we tied on the first 4.
Yeah.
Home runs. So make sure you guys are tuning in Thursday on Amazon Prime, 8 p.m. Eastern. Reba for the host. I mean that's just a reason to watch it right there. I mean, who cares about the awards?
Gotta love Reba. Yeah.
Right. So
all right. Well, we're going to wrap this one up, and then you guys will be able to catch us on next week's episode where we're going to recap this and see who managed to get more right or not. And
or if we're just both way off.
Yeah. I mean, we are both way off.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure our wives would vouch for that one. They're like, that's got my vote.
Yep. Check.
All right. Well, we will catch you guys next time on
Y'all Need Music Podcast.
Later.